Welcome back to the Tide Tier M Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Yojo June live stream, what they revealed, what the good and the bad, and we're going to talk about all this. They're going to do some reissues of Cobra Island. There are some new figures announced, and yes, it's almost all Cobra Island exclusive, but we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about the good points. Of course, there's going to be negatives. Talk about it all coming up. Okay, so first of all, they revealed a new version of Roadblock. Now, I'm kind of excited for it simply because it's what I wanted. I'm a little disappointed that they've given us a couple of other versions first, and a repaint. So technically 3 versions already came out, and now we're getting the one that we actually want. Now, I will say I like the way it looks. I'm not a fan of the helmet, but we'll look a little bit deeper in this guy. But I'm excited. He's definitely my top 5. Sometimes he is my favorite character. He's a lot of fun, and so I'm really excited and on board with it. I think that this figure looks so much better with his helmet off, and he does have the right color scheme. He is the correct version, everything about it. And here's why I think that we have so many other versions. I think they wanted to make a modernized, flashier version of the character, and they wanted to bring it out and hopefully appeal to people and have something different than the original. Finding out that most people, most collectors want the original. And if kids are collecting it, they really don't care. If you make it look like the original and spice it up just a bit, the kids are going to want it also. So finding out that what does the community want, they want this, and they're giving it to us. But back to this picture here. So we don't get a, I guess they call the gun Ma Deuce. We don't get a Ma Deuce in there. We get this other one. Has a removable ammo container and cylinder. So it's okay. It's going to have real world weapons, more or less, and getting away from the Nerf guns. So they're going with more classic designs and no Nerf guns. And I hope they continue that going forward. Now, Roadblock is an Amazon exclusive, which I had no trouble getting over to the site and ordering myself 2. One to keep in the package, one to open, and then got free shipping because of the pricing on it. Now it is $22.99, and I did go back and check later for a friend, and it is sold out. It's sold out pretty quick on pre-order, so I don't know if this is going to be one of those things that Amazon gets more in later, or if it's one and done. I can't imagine they won't get more, though, because this is the version that everybody's going to want. So next up, we have this Snake Eyes, and it looks like it's more of a version 1 Snake Eyes with a timber. So yeah, I know it's strange how they're doing this, but do we get a timber? It's a deluxe. That's great. They didn't really say so much if this is going to be an exclusive anywhere. It doesn't say on the package. We'll see that in a second. It doesn't say Cobra Island on the package. So is it going to be a widespread release? Is it going to be a Pulse exclusive? Is it going to be exclusive somewhere? Or is it going to be a $40 package? See, I don't even know how much it's going to be. They didn't really say much about that. But anyway, let's celebrate the fact that we're getting a wolf. Now, I've seen a lot of people try to use some other sort of a wolf or an animal or dog or something to fill in for timber, which they've done some really creative stuff, and there's some good looking things out there. But this is a nice looking version, and you get 2 different heads, swappable heads, so you got a good dog and angry dog. So the one thing I want to point out is that we're getting more sort of real world guns, real world weapons. So this is more or less what we should have gotten in the first place. And getting away from the Nerf guns, well, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 of them still look sort of Nerf gun-ish, but overall, it does look pretty good. I'm not as excited about Snake Eyes because I think that we have too many. There's just too many. We need different characters and not just, 11 Snake Eyes. But that's where I'm going to stop on talking about it and move on to something else. Now, I was really disappointed in how they came across and showed us Major Bludd. It's disappointing that we got reveal on eBay, and then we see it show up like 1 shipment per store. Some might have gotten 2, who knows, but 1 shipment per store, and then never ever again. Every Target I've been to, they say we had it on this date, and that's the last date we sold it. No more coming in. It's not on their planogram. There's no place for it. There's no slot. So that's kind of strange. And with it saying, okay, we got all this other stuff coming, but yet there's no place for Major Bludd and no place for any of this other stuff that's going to come. It's just the generic G.I. Joe SKU and not the Cobra Island SKU. So that's a challenge. Now, this figure itself looks pretty good. They finally talked about it and announced it. How come they didn't announce it months ago? How come we're getting it announced after it's been released? Which is so strange, it's so weird, and it got me thinking, why would they not announce the figure? And that's because I think they went back to the drawing board with all of their designs. I think that they went back to the drawing board, they started over, they pretty much scratched everything that they had, and now they're coming out with new things that look more classic, more retro, the way they should have from the get-go. Now, all that is an introduction to Barbecue. I think Barbecue is a very good classic-esque figure with modern updates, but it's close enough to the original, close enough to the tune, close enough to the toy, but some modern updates, and I think they did it right. This is a figure done right, the way I would expect G.I. Joe Classified to work. Now, it's a Cobra Island exclusive, meaning that you might get it, or you might not, or you might have to go for the eBay exclusive. So with that, we could just look at it and say, hey, I appreciate it for what it is and how good it is, and hopefully they're more plentiful down the road. Here's a little bit better look at him and his accessories and his weapons and his backpack, and he's got holsters, and there is a place to stow his axes and stuff. So I think everything is stowable 100% on him. And whether he's holding them or not, there's a place to store everything. I like that. I like the integration. And this isn't my favorite character. I think he's cool, I think he's good, and I like having the vintage one myself, and I'm going to like having this one, but it's not my favorite character. But the fact that it's classic and they're doing it right, I'm excited for it. Now, will I find it in the store? Maybe. And that's just a maybe. And that's checking sometimes 3 times a day. And still only a maybe I might find it. But I'm hoping that all of the designs coming up look this retro, this classic, and this much of a throwback to the Real American Hero line. And if it's true and they continue this route, then I'm going to be really excited about the line. I'm starting to kind of waver, like, do I even want to continue with it because they're so hard to acquire? And do I want to continue with it because they're going to be raising the price to $22.99 with everything? So there's a lot of questions that I have, but if they're going to look this good and we're going to be available enough that we could get them, then I'm gonna stay on board for sure. And then we get into this one here. So we've got a breaker with a ram cycle, and I like this because it's what we should have gotten instead of the coil bike. Baroness should not have been packed with the coil bike. She should have had a trouble bubble or a claw or something like that. But here we are with this, and I don't know what the obsession with motorcycles is. Maybe we're going to get all the other ones down the road, who knows? But this is a good choice. It's very classic. There's not flashy. It's not exciting. It's really basic from the early years of the Real American Hero. But so is the character, and I think they did the character right. He looks pretty good. He looks kind of drab, even to the point of a bit boring, but he is very retro, very classic, and I think they went back to the drawing board, and that's where he came from. I don't know, I kind of get this vibe that the head sculpt was based off of Bradley Cooper. I don't know why. That's just the way I feel, like, hey, Breaker is Bradley Cooper. Anyway, with this, you do get his side gun, his big old giant gun there on the motorcycle, and the packaging looks okay. It is a Cobra Island exclusive, so maybe it's going to be an eBay exclusive. Maybe it's going to be hard to get. I don't know how hard it's going to be to find. I'm hoping that, again, I say hoping, but I don't see that Target has changed anything. When it comes to Major Bludd, Target hasn't done anything different or anything better. There's not a higher volume. You just see a lot of people got them right away, and then we haven't seen restocks. So I don't know if that's going to be the case with this. I don't know if we're going to see a huge flood of Major Bludd and all that, but we're going to talk about the restocks coming up here in a bit. So most of what we see today is a Target exclusive Cobra Island, and they're going to reissue more Cobra Island. They're going to be loading up Target with these things, but will they really? So we're going to be getting a reissue of the Cobra Trooper, Roadblock for the Cobra Island, Beachhead, and the Baroness with the coil cycle, all just straight reissues. Now, what bothers me about this is the fact that we're going to have all this stuff going to Target, but I still think it's going to be hard to get. I don't think it's going to be simple. You can just walk in and get a Baroness. I don't think it's going to be simple. You just walk in and get a Beachhead at any time. And I really don't think you're going to get any Cobra Troopers. It's going to be really hard. They're going to open up the case, and maybe it's a mixed assortment. Maybe they're separate. They didn't talk about all that. But you're still not going to just be able to walk in at any time from 8 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night and grab whatever you want off the shelf. It's not going to be that plentiful. It's not going to be that easy to get. But it's still better than where it is now, I guess you could say. There's still some sort of hope. But what I think the problem is going to be giving a lot of people hope, and they still can't track it down. That's going to irritate a lot of people that are already on the fence and wanting to quit the whole line. And so unless they bring this out with a healthy delivery, it's just really going to hurt the brand. So next they talked about this radio-controlled Jada. It's interesting. It's not going to hold figures. It's too big for 3.75, too small for 6-inch, but it's just an RC Joe car to have out there. Now, if you don't know who Jada Toys is, they're the ones that have the aisle markers, the figures, the metal figures that sit there and don't sell, so you know where G.I. Joe is supposed to go. Because you never see G.I. Joe on the toy aisle, you just see the Jada aisle markers of the little 6-pack or however it is in that metal Joe pack. That's the same company that makes this. They're coming out with like an 18-pack of those metal figures to have a bigger aisle marker so you really could see from a larger distance where Joes are supposed to be. And I guess you could not even walk to the toy aisle. You could just look and say, okay, that's where they're supposed to be, and there's nothing else around it. I guess I don't need to go over there. So anyway, this is an RC car. It has a USB charger, a built-in battery, so you don't have to supply your own batteries. So there's some cool stuff about it, but it's going to carry a premium price. They didn't say how much, but I guarantee it's going to have a premium price because there's a G.I. Joe sticker on it. And lastly, I want to say that they did talk a little bit about the retro collection line that is almost a forgotten thing by them. This should be so easy for them. Hasbro's already made all the stuff. Let's put more stuff out. They're just reissuing stuff that they had before, right? Well, this Fang is not really a reissue of anything. It's redesigned. I don't like the look of it. I'm not really excited about it. I would have preferred one like the 25th anniversary, and I'll show a picture of that here in a second. But they're going to have some more updates. They're going to let us know in a month or so, who knows, that what else is coming in it, and will we find out, will we get some of the short-packed ones repacked, like Scarlet? They didn't tell us anything. But for $25, and now if you want to get on Hasbro Pulse, you can pay a premium of another $2 or something, and you could get this thing we're getting at Walmart for $25. It's like $27 on Hasbro Pulse. But see, a few years ago, well, maybe a decade ago, they put out, not only did they put out the Fang, and you got a cheaper version of the Claw, but you got two figures, and it was $16 or $16.99 at Target back then. And now, what do we get for 25 bucks? And I'd much rather have the versions that came in there than what we're getting today. Although I like the packaging better, I don't like the vehicle better. So I guess it doesn't matter. I'm never going to open it. So what do you think about these reveals? Are you in on these? Did you get in on the Roadblock before it sold out right away? Did you get in on any of these pre-orders? It was kind of frustrating that some of the Hasbro Pulse stuff was hiding behind a paywall. I still have not paid the $50. I'm not going to. I think it's ridiculous. And even I hear people that did pay it couldn't get what they wanted to order anyway. So it's a waste of $50, and you don't get your money back on it if you don't like their service. So what do you think about these releases? Are you excited that they're more classic? Are you disappointed that it's not different characters? Are you disappointed overall that just not much is coming out? And the length of time, do you think it's taking them forever to get figures out? When you get like 30 to 50 or 80, who knows how many Marvel Legends, but you get like less than 10 in G.I. Joe Classified in a year. So that's probably because they're redesigning everything. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and Tiberium Hanger out.